Hey friends, welcome back to the channel Creatively Sandra, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am talking about Destination D23, the event that happened just about 2 weeks ago. And I want to share with you some of the stuff that went on, the gifts that we got, the shopping we were able to do, all of that. I did talk about pins on Wednesday, on Pin Me Up Wednesday. So if you missed that video, go back 2 days and check it out to see all the pins that I got through the RSVP. But today I want to give you a little more information about the event. So if you've never attended, maybe this will help you in making decisions for future attendance, if you can get in. So, it was a 3-day event, and the first day, for those who had been lucky enough to get tickets to the event, the first day was Friday. So it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And for Friday, it was a RSP pickup day, which means you can pick up the pins that you were able to purchase through the RSP, and I explained that more in Wednesday's video. And then you had a shopping time, and there were stores that we could shop in. So there was Mickey's of Glendale, the Walt Disney Company store, Disney Hollywood Studios, and then there were a lot of other guest vendors in there as well. So that was pretty fun. But we did have to pick up our RSPs. We had a badge sent to us in the mail, and it was just the badge, which I had told my friend Shay over at Diz Fly Life. You're going to see some of this information on her channel too, I'm sure. We attended together. And when we got this in the mail, we were like, what? It's just a badge. But I think they did that because of the low shipping cost to just mail a badge. So it was a stitch badge, and it had our specific code on the back for attendees, and then one of the items we got was a lanyard. So they did give us a lanyard for the badge. It just wasn't until we got there. So you had to have that badge to get in. You had to have that badge to pick up your gift for attending, to get into the shops, all of it. So they were pretty good. I think the first day they had some trouble with kind of outsiders, non-ticket holders coming into the event and attempting to shop. And then after that, they seemed to be pretty good about sort of guarding the entrance to only allow people who had a badge. And there were 2 levels of that. There was a higher paid level that got like priority seating for the panels and all of that on Saturday and Sunday. They got a different gift than we did, but it almost the same. Anyway, let's just dive into that and I'll show you what we got. So the first thing we were able to pick up was a bag full of goodies, and this is just the bag. It is a bag by Lug. There's a name to it. Let's see if I can find it. It is the, I don't know what this is. In Heather Gray, Sunter something. Anyway, it's a great bag. It's a really good size. It has strap that will fit on your rolling suitcase. It has a big pocket here. It is large, deep, can carry a whole lot, which we carried a whole lot in it. It's got lots of pockets on both sides. We got some clear pockets, some not clear pockets, a zipper pocket. You've got huge side pockets for water bottles and umbrellas and things like that. And we've got another, one's a zippered pocket and one's, actually they're both zippered pockets. There's another smaller pocket. It just has everything. And it even has this little wallet or clutch that you can add things to as well. I'm just seeing if I stuck anything in there. And then the bag itself was filled with goodies. Oh, and it has these handles, so you can carry it as a shoulder bag, but it also has a longer strap that can be extended and carried like a crossbody bag. Let me put on my glasses and see if there is a name that I'm missing to the bag. It's abbreviated, so I can't really tell what it's supposed to be, but it is a really nice bag. Now, we got this gray color when, at the time we checked in. The people who had the higher level ticket got a nice black and white houndstooth. And then we noticed people who came later in the day got an all black bag. So there was some variety in those, but I thought it was a very nice gift. It's a little diaper baggy, like it would be a great diaper bag. But it's also good like work or travel bag to carry a lot in. And it was just filled with goodies. So there was all kinds of things in here. Lots of flyers for the vendors that were there. So we had Lug, we had Pandora, we had Ravensburger that does the puzzles and Lorcana cards, I think. There was artists, all kinds of stuff. But let me talk to you a little bit more about what was in the bag. So we got lots of treats like buttons. So we got a button for World Princess Week. And so that had all the princesses on it. We got another button for Official D23 Fan Club, and it's a Halloween button with Huey, Dewey, and Louie there, specific to D23. We also got a patch, and this is a Destination D23 Journey Around the World was the theme, and so it is a Chip 'n Dale patch, like the Rescue Rangers Chip 'n Dale, and this was an event exclusive, so that was nice. A little patch you can add. We already talked about the badge. I'm gonna be adding stuff to this bag because there's a lot on my table here. It's kind of a mess. We got a thing for Pinnacle. I'm not even sure what that is, and I haven't checked it out yet, but it's a little kind of a badge and a keychain that could be used for something else. You can take that out, but it has the QR code to access Pinnacle on there. I think it's about collecting digital pins, open edition digital pins, and this gave you a $10 credit for that as well. So I haven't checked into that much yet, but it's there. We got what I think is some shoelaces from Hulu, so that's interesting. I don't know what I'll do with those. We got some Lorcana cards. So this looks like some kind of special pack, 12 card booster pack. So we've got my girl Cruella on the front there, but that was nice. If you're a Lorcana card collector, that was a nice little gift. We got, let's see what else. There was a little pin for Abbott Elementary, the show. I didn't even realize that was a Disney show, and it says something Fest on it. I don't know. We also got a pin in our bag. So I think this was one of the most fun things in there. So to commemorate the event, a special pin, and this is Minnie Mouse as a kind of a pilot. So this one's pretty cool. I'll show you a couple other pins that we got, but this also was an event exclusive. So that was just for attending, and included all of the stuff came in the bag. And then we got a, this is from Bath & Body Works. So cool. I had already ordered some of these, but it was so fun to get them. There was an early release, but Bath & Body Works was there for the shopping. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment, but this was included from their new Villains line. It is a pocket back holder with the pocket back hand sanitizer inside. So this is Maleficent. I actually got the Evil Queen one, but Shay and I traded because I don't think she ordered the Poison Apple. That's the one that Evil Queen had, and I ordered the Poison Apple, so I knew that was coming. So I gave her mine, and she gave me this one. So it is so cool. Maleficent's cap there, and all the glitter and dangle there. So that's very fun. And it says it glows in the dark. So I haven't tried that out, but that's pretty cool that we got that as a gift on a little keychain there too. Okay, let's see if I've got anything else. Oh, we've got something in a box here for Disney Rewards, and when you checked in, I think this came in the bag, which was just a little pin voucher, and then we had to go redeem the voucher. So it's just a little advertisement for a Disney Chase Visa, and then we got a little keychain with that. So that's cute. I saw people already putting it on their bags. And then there was a voucher in here that we could go pick up a pin. And so this was the pin that we got from Visa cards from Chase. It is a limited release pin for the event as well, and it is Stitch, and he's hanging out in a little inner tube there in the pool or the ocean, wherever he is hanging out. So that is cute. That was fun. And I think the last thing that came in the bag was in here. And this is a I'll show you. It's a Phineas and Ferb poster. So don't know what I'll do with this one either, or some of the other stuff as well. But I don't know. They included it. So Phineas and Ferb. It says new season now available on Disney Channel and Disney Plus. Phineas and Ferb. So kind of fun. Maybe my grandkids will like that. I don't think they know who Phineas and Ferb is yet. But they'll learn. They'll learn. And so I think that was everything in the bag. Except there was also a coupon for Lug. And you got, if you spent, I'm not even sure there was a limit. It might have been $50 or $30 or something, but you got $23 off, which was really great. So I went over to the Lug booth and got a couple things there. I'll show you what I got. So I purchased something, and I'll show you that in a moment, but the item that we had a coupon for $23 off, but also to pick up a pin. So they also gave us a pin. You guys might have seen some people showing this online, but that is how we got it. It is a Figment pin, and also a limited release for the event for Destination D23, and it is by Lug. So this pin was sponsored by Lug. The last one was sponsored by Chase Visa. So that's pretty cool that they had different places. Kind of got you to their booth as well, because that's the only way you got it. It was not included in the bag. But the item that I got from Lug, now I'm trying to remember how they broke this up. So there was 3 stores, like with the companies I mentioned, and then there was the store that had like a big open banquet room that had a setup for Pandora, a setup for Lug, a setup for Bath and Body Works. The Villains release, everything was there. So Shay took advantage of some of that. I took advantage of a little bit of it, and then took advantage of some other things instead. But they had the new release of the Maleficent like castle candle holder, and the Evil Queen had a mirror that glows. Very cool stuff. And then of course they had all the fragrances for the lotions and the sprays, and then the hand sanitizers and the pocket backs for those. So that was very cool. Back to Lug. Squirrel. Okay, so the other thing that they gave out was a free bag. So we got this just tote bag from Lug. So it's just a silver tote. Nothing, oh, there's something inside. And it is a coupon. This one I think is for their warehouse. So they have a warehouse in Orlando, not particularly Disney themed, and neither is this bag. This bag is not, again, I really can't tell you what the name is. Transit Met is what the abbreviation is, but you know, it's always nice to get a tote bag. This is a good one for when you are shopping, grocery shopping, stuff like that, and have to have a bag with you. But the bag I purchased, they had a whole new line specifically for the event, and they had 3 colors. So every bag they had were in those 3 colors, and it was black, silver, and like a kind of a dark teal. And this is a really cool part. So the one I bought is like a water bottle bag, and you've seen these in the parks or on Shop Disney. There's a lot of them out there. These were kind of plain as opposed to the ones we've seen so far are mostly like characters or prints, but they have this really cool, it's not a pin. I forget what they're calling it, but it slides onto this strap. So you can lift this off. Actually, let me show you. And you can pull off kind of like a, I'm thinking of what are the ties, like the cowboy type ties that they wear and have a slot, bolo, kind of like a bolo that it slips on. You can slip it back on, and so you could buy others and interchange them. They had 3 sets of characters. So you had this Mickey with luggage, you had a Stitch, and you also had Chippendale, I believe. And so each of the bags, different style. They had the water bottle bags, they had just regular totes, they had backpacks, all different kinds of lug bags, probably ones you've seen elsewhere and available, but for the event, for this pattern. This bag is pretty cool. I just have to have a bottle of water with me when I go to the park, so I had been looking for one of these. In fact, I bought a cheap one on Amazon, but I'm excited to have this. It's insulated, which is great. It has a drawstring to pull whatever kind of bottle you put in there. You can make sure it's secure. But the great thing is all the pockets. So you can fit a cell phone. You've got this top pocket with lots of room. You've got, and I did use this once already, you've got a front pocket here that you can put like your credit cards and your money in, or if that's not safe enough for you, there's one kind of stashed to the side here as well. It also has these straps so that it could go on a belt to be like work with a fanny pack. And then the other thing that was cool about it is they gave us a second strap. So this one has, actually, let me open it to show you. I hadn't, but this is pretty cool. Let me see if I can show you. So it's got Mickey, the same Mickey, and it's got destination D23. So you can switch this out for the existing strap. It's a nice strap. It's a little bit thicker than the one that comes on the bag. So sometimes that's a little more comfortable. And then they also gave us this little bag tag, which is kind of funny because I don't think it's a bag tag, but you can't like put your name on it or anything, but it's cute. So appreciated that. They made it like it was a bundle to have this and the extra strap and the emblem on the front. I predict, this isn't a hard prediction, but with these, that they're going to come out with more of these slides, pin-like things. You could even put a pin on here. You could put a little hole in this and press your pin into it too. And they also gave us another little piece. I think that you can also add stuff on that strap as well. So it's just this little Velcro piece. And it says, add a little something extra to your favorite lug bag with our collection of unique and smile-inducing bag charms. So I think there's going to be more bag charms coming. And that'll be super fun. So that is the lug bag that I purchased. And like I said, it was $23 off. So I think it was like a $50 bag that I got for like 35, 37-ish. I missed something. There was another, this was the luggage tag. I guess that tag was just a cute tag, but they did include, I missed this one, but it was in the larger bag as one of our gifts. So it is a luggage tag marked with D23. Connie, you must be laughing over there that the whole theme of this seemed to be Stitch with a lot of Stitch items. And I'm not the biggest Stitch fan, so, but that's okay. So that was everything in the bag, and that was the lug shopping. Now I mentioned that I also purchased something from Bath and Body Works. So one of the things that was not online, let me see if this will, oh, it does. Okay, cool. One of the things that was not online that I was able to purchase at the event was another pocket back holder. But do you remember when they came out with the princesses? They had such cool pocket back holders, and I didn't get any. So I wasn't missing out this time. I got them all. But this one I got at the event. You can see my camera through there. But it is the Evil Queen's pocket back holder. I have the Evil Queen sanitizer that I also picked up. And so you slide that in, and then you have your sanitizer available on a little clip there. This one also glows, and I'll show you. When you press this button, you have the face of the mirror there. So that is very cool and fun. So that is what I purchased from Bath and Body Works. In that same room for Pandora, I wasn't going to miss out on that. Had no idea what I was getting, but we did get, I did decide to get some Pandora charms, and I'm not sure how well this will show, but they had specific charms. They had, I think, 3 for the D23 event, so I thought, why not? And I picked up these 2. So the first one, the one that dangles is Minnie Mouse. So again, her as a pilot, if you can see that. And then this is the Murano glass there, but it says destination D23 on it. So I thought those would be kind of fun. I almost bought 2 of them because to kind of surround the charm, but you know, this event was really adding up, so we had to stop somewhere. Now, as far as the other stores, I really didn't buy a whole lot, and one we didn't even go into until the next day. So the way the shopping worked, I don't think I explained this. We picked up our bags, we got our gifts, we had a set shopping time, which for us was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank goodness we got there early, like 10 o'clock, because we had to stand in such long lines to pick up our RSPs that there really wouldn't have been time to shop. In fact, one of the lines I mentioned in the other video was like 2.5 hours long. That was ridiculous, and that was a big negative for the event. But it is what it is. We used our time to shop. We stood in lines. We were exhausted from that, from just standing in long lines. So that was kind of a bummer. But the good news was that we shopped at our allotted time. You had to go get in a queue for that and get your pass to shop. They gave you a wristband. And when you went into shop, you basically got access to all the stores at the same time. So you could go back and forth between them. And once you did that and had your wristband, you could shop all weekend. So Saturday, I'll talk about the panels and stuff for that, but you could use that time also to go back into the stores. And if you didn't stay in the lines and get your RSP, you could also pick those up the next day. I think they did the lines again. Okay, we went into the, let's see, I think it was the Disney store, the Disney company store, and I only bought one thing. I bought a shirt, but it is a cute one. I got Tiana. So they had many things with D23 logos on it, just Disney store stuff, etc. Water bottles, notepads, all kinds of things. Nothing I really needed. And like I said, we spent a lot, or I spent a lot on pins. And so I only bought, and Pandora, etc. So I only bought the one t-shirt. So that was nice. And then in the DSSH store, they had a lot of pins. They had some, their clothing was like a, I don't know, more for the beach, like the moisture wicking. Some of it had the tiny holes in it, like a mesh. They had some raincoats, things like that, but nothing I needed. So there I only picked up 2 pins. So they had this one, which is left over from DSSH last year, I believe, and it is Mirabelle. There was a whole music series. They had a lot of these. This was the only one I was interested in, so I picked up that, and that was $34.95 originally. I wonder, did we pay that full price? We did not. I think we had these on sale. This one was definitely lower. This is one of the Studio Store pins that they normally sell in the store, and it is the Mad Hatter with popcorn. I think I may have this one, so this one may be a trader, but the Mirabelle one is definitely for me, and that is a keeper. Okay, I think that's all I bought for the shopping. I have a couple more things to show you that we got as gifts, but let me tell you a little bit more about how the rest of the day went. So like I said, that was for the shopping and for the RSP pickup. Like I said, it was a good thing we didn't wait. They had one other, like, kind of super negative, but they did it well. And that was, you could not park at the event. So the event was held at the Coronado Springs Convention Center, which is very large. However, you had to park at ESPN and get bussed over, or park at Disney Springs and get bussed over, or take an Uber, or whatever else was available. So if you did not stay at the hotel, you could not park there. That was a pain in the butt for buying stuff. Fortunately, my purchases were small, but we still were carrying around pins and stuff, and it would have been nice to just set the whole thing in the car. I also was lugging around my pins for trading because that was available, and so that was heavy, and a few things we bought just sort of piled up, and we ended up dragging around quite a bit, and that was exhausting in itself. So it was a little frustrating that they didn't allow parking there. However, they set up a bus system that was magnificent. They had lots of help. When you got to the ESPN Center, you knew exactly where to go. They had lots of helpers directing you to get on the bus. The buses ran every 15 minutes. There was lots of them. They did not wait for a bus to fill up to take you over. So we never waited more than like 10 minutes from getting on the bus to taking off and getting over to the resort, or getting back from the resort to our cars. So I do have to say they handled that beautifully. It was just a bummer that they had to do it that way. But the event was 4,000 people. Plus, if you think about all the workers, all the people already staying at the hotel, all of that, I just don't think they would have had enough parking. So they also had food vendors. So they had quite a few trucks that were outside that you could go get coffee, you could go get a snack, you could go get lunch. They did give us a break for lunch. That was on Saturday and Sunday. But you also had Coronado Springs restaurant, Coronado Springs restaurants as well, that you could go eat in the food court or whatever you wanted. So that was nice too. But the food trucks were there for Saturday and Sunday. I went out and got a coffee at some point during the panels. And so let's talk about those. So Saturday and Sunday were the panels, and there was lots of discussions, news, entertainment. So that was pretty fun. Just to give you an idea of some of the things, I have my list. Now, they started at 9 a.m. and went till about 5. Both days, I think things ran a little behind. But you didn't have to stay for the whole thing. And we, after such a long day Friday, we didn't rush to get up and get there on Saturday, which meant we were not going to get the greatest seats. The people who had the higher level ticket got preferred seating. Other seats, you know, sometimes you had a pillar in the way, but they had a lot of big screens you could see. Needless to say, I did not film much. I did film a lot, but it just doesn't look good, so I'm not even going to show you guys that. But we went in for the panels on Saturday. We stayed through lunchtime. We did a little bit of other things after lunch, and then we came back for the end of it. And we kind of did the same thing on, well, a little bit different on Sunday, but it was very enjoyable. There were some voice actors there from some Disney movies, and that was great. We got to see, I'll tell you, some of the folks that were there. So Jodie Benson was kind of the MC and host. And if you're not familiar, Jodie Benson is the voice of Ariel. And she sang for us, but she also dressed up beautifully, changed her gown often, things like that. That was kind of fun. Susan Egan is also a voice actor for Disney, and she voiced the role of Meg from Hercules, and she performs on Broadway, and they both do. And so they were amazing, sang throughout the event for different things. So that was great. And then Michael James Scott was there as well. And he did some songs for us. Oh, they're all Broadway performers, but they were just amazing. And that was like being at a show and everything we love about Disney, the music. And every time they sang a song or played, they had like the movie going in the background. So like Michael James Scott was singing from Aladdin. So they had some of the movie showing behind it, little scenes and stuff. So that was fun. We also had different, not MCs, but people who led different segments. And so Yvette Nicole Brown was also there. We got to hear about Inside Out 2 coming up. We also got sneak peeks for some new movies coming out and new editions of movies, new sequels. So there's a Toy Story coming. So Toy Story 5 is going to be in our sights soon. And some other sequels and things that they gave us news about. We got some sneak peeks, so that was a lot of fun. And then we also had some stars from Disney Channel that were there. So some young and older, some stars that we grew up with for the shows we watched or that my kids watched. They were there and sat on a panel and answered lots of fun questions. And then we had 2 guests from the Goofy movie. So we had Bill Farmer, who is the voice of Goofy, and Jason Marsden, who is the voice of Max. And so that was a lot of fun to hear from them and listen to the stories and all that, like so much fun. And then we also had Patrick Warburton, who voices Kronk, but he's also coming up in the Inside Out 2 movie, and the character is going to be amazing. So I'm really excited for that. But we saw different things. They talked to us about certain artists, and they talked to us about Disney food and some of the cookbooks. There was a whole segment on the castles of Disney and how they were developed, how they compared, the overlays, things like that. We had some things like from different countries, like how they, you know, there was a whole segment on the Three Caballeros and some of the trips and research that was done towards making that movie in the Latin countries, things like that, and Disney around the globe, different segments on that. So it was a lot of good information. I was actually surprised how enjoyable that was, and you know, all the neat stuff to hear about that's coming, and not just stuff that's coming, but stuff like where it came from, the ideas of Walt, some of the other artists, designers, things like that. That was a lot of fun. At the end of day 2, Saturday, we also had a evening party, which was held at Typhoon Lagoon. And so this was themed as Cusco-topia. So there was a dance party on the beach, in the sand. There was a DJ, there were the characters, you had Kronk, and you had Yzma, and why did the name just go out of my head? The Emperor was there as well. So they were all dressed up in costume, and they had food. So they had popcorn and ice cream and soft drinks for us, but there was also restaurants open that we could order food, quick service, and some alcoholic beverages if you chose to participate. I was not as impressed about this event. They closed that park. It normally closes, I think, at like 6 o'clock. It was open for us from 8 to 11 or 8 to midnight. We were so tired, we chose not to put our bathing suits on and not to go in the water. And I think the whole point was that it was open for us to enjoy those things. So the DJ and stuff was all fun, but other than that, if you weren't partaking in the park itself, what were you there for? So that was, we probably could have skipped that, but had we been rested, had we participated, I think it would have been a lot of fun. We did get a gift there as well. That was one of the reasons, because everybody kept saying, go to the panels, there's gifts. Go to the event, there's gifts. Well, this was our gift, which is not too shabby. It is a waterproof phone case, and we use these on our vacations and at the beach, but it does hold your phone in there and not get it wet. You can even take pictures and text and stuff while it's in this case. So that was our little giveaway there. And so that was nice of them. We didn't stay too long. Watched some folks. They had a weird bingo game of finding these birds, but like the prize was that they mentioned your name. The DJ mentioned your name on stage. But anyway, so all in all, it was really good. Sunday as well was just the more panels. We went a little later. We missed some of the morning ones and kind of took our time. So you can go at your own pace. There is a lot going on. And after each event and during each event, there were pin trading in the lobby of the hotel. There was a whole event going on during the day on Sunday, off-site in a hotel, a very large pin trading event. There was another one Sunday night. We participated in those a little bit as well as trading in the lobby. There was just so much going on. You really need to rest up for this weekend and to be able to partake in everything. I'm going to show you one last gift they gave us. We got and I think the announcement here was that Disney floats are going to be in the Macy's Day Parade again. And so we got this piece of artwork with Spider-Man, Buzz Lightyear, and Minnie Mouse. And then we also got this very cool art print of Zootopia 2. So you've got Nick and Judy on there, and it's just such a beautiful scene. It's in the plastic still, but it's very pretty and definitely frame worthy. And I think that's about it for all the giveaways. Let me see if I missed anything I wanted to tell you. We talked about the guests. My negatives were the long line and the parking situation, but like I said, they did a really good job with the parking, even though it wouldn't have been my choice. So I hope this has given you lots of information about the event to think about for future events. They come to Orlando every other year for Destination D23. D23 in California is a whole different ballgame, and this is not it. This is, even though it's crazy and busy and exhausting, it is very tame compared to the regular D23 from what I hear. I've never been. But I hope this gives you a little bit of information. Let me know down below if you enjoyed hearing about this and if it helps you to make a decision of if you want to go in the future when they come back to Orlando. So subscribe down below because I also have pin trading that I did at the event and throughout the week in the parks as well, that I'd love to share with you in an upcoming video. Let me know what you thought of this whole thing. If it sounds like something you would do, leave that comment. Give me a like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.